It is 6:15 in Douala. Thanks and welcome to join me, Kejang Henry Atimbe, for the news. We begin with our top stories. Ransom seekers nabbed in Bamenda for attempting to squeeze money out of a businessman. They were captured by the population after an alarm bell was sounded. And get to know the rationale behind regular fuel shortage in Cameroon in this edition of the newscast. And let's get rolling as those were our top stories. Thanks and welcome to join me. I'm Kejang Henry Atimbe. You can hook up with us on our social media platforms. Of course, on Facebook and on YouTube. 2 young men are currently being detained by the police department in Bamenda, northwest region of Cameroon for attempting to squeeze money out of a businessman. In effect, they had successfully grabbed 200,000 francs from the businessman, and in fact, in the name of separatist fighters. And in that unquenchable thirst for more money, the alarm bell was sounded, leading to their capture. Details with Sheriff Asali Curls from Annie Collins in Bamenda.
The population of Metakwata neighborhood in Bamenda 2 subdivision have this Wednesday, January 11, 2023, come out and succeeded to stop 2 young men from extorting money from a business tycoon who is proprietor of this building near Complexion. According to eyewitness account, the victim had come to check works on the structure when the youngsters, though unarmed, presented themselves as separatist fighters demanding money. Having already succeeded to collect 200,000 francs and were about mounting the bike they had hired, they again decided to go for more money. And that was when the innocent bike rider they had hired sounded the alarm.
As the client on top bike say they want go, now if I walk picking, he catch them. He ask and say when I been who them, they know they want to talk again. So they start be beaten now for you sense because they know be one say they stand you chanting with Lord. He use sense now, he carry them, put them inside one of your room, he lock them. He take your motor, he go call police them, but they come. They can now. So now police now they don't come move the body, go with them.
Workers of the construction site came out and the hoodlums were caught and locked up in this room, and the police took them away few minutes later. In some groups, people lauded the population initiative, which they would like to continue to stamp out hostage takings, demands for ransom, and other forms of criminality common in these days in Bamenda and its environs.
Thanks, Sheriff Sally reported the calls from our Northwest Regional Bureau Chief Correspondent Annie Collins. Commercial motorbike riders in Douala have been cautioned to make sure they move with the required documents that will enable them to circulate freely, and failure to do so will only get them into trouble with the administration. That warning was sounded by the Senior Divisional Officer for Vuri, Benjamin Butu, while handing car documents bike documents to some recalcitrant bike riders who saw their motorbikes seized during the repressive phase to fight against urban criminality. Details with Morindi.
He was among those whose motorbikes were impounded by littoral administration as it seeks measures to completely tackle problems linked to insecurity, especially with the phenomenon of urban gangsters called the microbe.
Last 2 weeks ago, they took my bike and they gave me a sum of 20,000 to come and pay at the UP. So they just surprised us today and called us that we should come and receive our categories and the number plate.
Here at the explanates of the Wuri SU, hundreds of bike riders are impatiently waiting to receive the categories documents. According to Wuri SU, 1,200 motorbikes were impounded during the time of curfew, and the only condition was payment of impoundment fees and presentation of documents. what most failed to do, but were obliged at a certain point. Most later engaged the procedure at the Divisional Delegation of Transport for Warri. There, 800 files have been submitted, 214 categories issued, and 401 other files still under review. The need for all to regularize the situation is imperative or face a wrath of government.
When you have the motorbikes who is immatriculated and registered in the Ministry of Transport, we are sure that we can transport the population in the security.
According to the SO for Warri, sensitization continues on the field to track down commercial bike riders still defying government's order.
They cannot have to circulate in the town of Douala without their papers.
It should be noted the city of Douala alone counts thousands of commercial motorbike riders, but a majority ply the streets with no documents. Inhabitants most often accuse them of creating disorder and contribute to growing insecurity, but again they still depend on them for their daily activities.
And experts have lamented that with its rich natural potential, Cameroon should be at least the last country in the world to be hit by fuel scarcity. And in an effort to understand the raison d'etre of this regular fuel shortage in Cameroon, experts told Ambo Gladys Debunk that apart from the fuel supply disruptions from Russia as a result of the crisis in Ukraine, there is equally the issue of Cameroon having transactions at the level of the international market. Ambo Gladys.
The dismal fuel scarcity in some major towns of Cameroon is causing unprecedented uncertainty. Just a couple of months back, Cameroonians were faced with a similar situation that almost rendered several sectors of activities paralyzed. Fuel supply disruptions in Russia is said not only to be responsible for the present state of affairs as Cameroon imports all the fuel it consumes. Russia is the second fuel exporter in the world after Saudi Arabia. Recently, the West has been preventing Russia from marketing its fuel internationally by fixing a cylinder price per barrel, provoking Russia to drop production, leading to high demand over limited supply.
We're having problem, getting oil in the international market first, like I said, because there's a problem of currency, and international partners do not longer want letter of credit anymore. They need to be paid in cash.
This brings to question the role of the Cameroon's oil refinery.
Cameroon is a oil producer. Sonara, which is supposed to transform our fuel, is not transforming anything. And for some years now, we've been importing 100% of the fuel that we consume in Cameroon. Meanwhile, we are exporting all what we produce in Cameroon. Our crude oil is being exported.
Reason the state is obliged to subsidize fuel.
And this is becoming too high. We're talking of 600 billion here just to subsidize fuel in Cameroon.
Government spends about 775 billion francs CFA just to subsidize domestic gas so that Cameroonians can have a bottle of gas at 6,500 CFA francs instead of 13,000 francs CFA. It also subsidizes half the price of fuel and kerosene. Experts suggest government needs to rehabilitate the lone oil refinery Sonara and invest in alternative energy sources in order to preempt such scarcity that can crumble the economy.
Thanks, Ambo Gladys. The Bank Cameroon's customs revenue is known to have witnessed a boost of over 5.3% in 2022 compared with 2021. But not only was the customs revenue target of 863.9 billion obtained, but the revenue got up to 897.4 billion, which goes, of course, beyond the initial target expected by the Cameroonian government. And achievement which, according to the Directorate of Customs, was attained as a result of its multiple customs operations. Stephanie Chi.
Customs indicates that the Cameroon Customs attained a revenue worth 897,400,000,000 francs for the 2022 financial year, an amount which surpasses the 2022 revenue target set at 863,900,000,000 francs by the government. According to the Director General of Customs, Edwin Fongot Novaga, Customs Department recorded a 5.3% increase in revenue rate compared with 2021, with an implementation rate of 103.9%. An applauded performance which the Director General of Customs justifies thanks to some special custom teams such as the Harkomi 3, specialized in the fight against smuggling and contraband goods. According to the report, huge consignments of fake pharmaceutical products, wine produced without authorization and other products were seized throughout the national territory. The use of the digital system for customs operations has also brought about a boost in customs revenue collection. The new technology has facilitated customs clearance of vehicles and brought about a reduction of fraudulent operations. The Cameroonian custom has set a target to go beyond 1,000 billion for the year 2023, a target which will be the first of its kind.
The examination fee for the first school leaving certificate examination, the common entrance and the certificate d'études primaires officially passes from 5,500 francs to 6,000 francs per exams. This information is contained in a ministerial correspondence addressed to basic education authorities on January 9. And how do the head teachers, trade union leaders, as well as parents react? Let's get the details in this report. Courtesy Hyacinth Chair from Yaoundé.
He is here to pay for the first school living certificate, government common entrance and SEP examination fee for his pupils for the 2023 session. Money, he says, they collected from all candidates in December, but with a new additional 500 francs per file, which is as a result of the increase in fiscal stamps from 1,000 to 1,500 francs. Mr. Tekam Jean-Michel says they had to put heads together with the PTA to make up the amount from 5,500 francs to 6,000 francs. And at the level of the Inspectorate of Yaoundé 5, sensitization of teachers and parents are ongoing to update them on the new modalities.
C'est 500 francs par candidat. Donc ce n'est que ces 500 francs que le parent ajoute par candidat.
Despite the increase, trade union leaders explain that this clear information from Minister Laurent Serge Etundingwa will help curb the fishy games some head teachers had put up to exploit parents, with some collecting 9,000 to 10,000 francs per file.
They take 7,000, 8,000 from one officer exam. In this situation, we can say that the minister has clarified to put the parents in the same level of information.
He urges the government to use the collected funds for the intended purpose, that is, supply examination materials and complete the payment of teachers who will take part in the invigilation and marking of such scripts.
The ordeals of getting potable water in Yaoundé will soon be over. This is an assurance from the Minister of Water Resources and Energy, Gaston Elundu Esumba, when he appreciated works of the Nachtigall supply station. Beatrice Ngabo is our chief correspondent in Yaoundé. She reports.
The nightmare of potable water supply will soon be a thing of the past, with the solution coming from the Sanaga River via the Nachtigall water supply station to the capital city, Yaoundé and environs. Household taps will enjoy of a supply whose availability is announced this year. Good news, and we wish it should be a reality. Appreciate it. The fundamental is it should be true, because we have had announcements like this never realized. Others were blunt in their reaction, skeptical about the good news. It is not the first time the minister is speaking like this. We are waiting to see, because water problem in Cameroon is shit. The reassurance is from the Minister of Energy and Water Resources, Gaston Elundu Esumba, following a field trip to the Nachtigall water supply station Wednesday.
You came here to see what is really done in the field. And you realize that the completion rate is about 95%. We came here to identify if there is any problem which can delay this objective. We identify a couple of problems, and you are going to speed up action in order to commission this project during 2023, as soon as possible.
The great day awaited when taps will flow and flow with pure potable water.
Thanks, Beatrice. Of course, the year 2022 was a remarkable one in the domain of sports in Cameroon, as the country vibrated from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. Of course, Cameroon hosted the African Cup of Nations in month of February, and so too Cameroon was part of the Qatar 2022 expedition. Hyacinthia takes us across with the complexities surrounding some of the sporting infrastructures in the country.
Cameroon played host to the biggest African football jamboree, the African Cup of Nations, which brought together the different nations to communion over soccer in stadia across the country from January 9 to February 6, 2022, when the Teranga Lions of Senegal backed home the prestigious trophy. The indomitable Lions of Cameroon grabbing the bronze medal of the tournament, which the Confederation of African Football has described as one of the best. Cameroon flag bearer Francis Ngannou made history once again, and the country proud on January 23rd as he retained his title as world champion in MMA. Rigobert Song-Bahana, with his danger theory and his boys, gave Cameroonians an unforgettable night on March 29, 2022, after miraculously beating Algeria in Blida at the last minute of prolongation to qualify for the Qatar World Cup.
Je suis dans la joie. L'Algérie a été massacrée par le lion blessé. Vraiment, je suis dans la joie.
And appearing at the Qatar Football Fiesta, the Lions came back after the first round of the competition with 4 points, 4 goals scored and 4 goals conceded, and a memorable win over Brazil. One of the fallout of the World Cup expedition is the shocking retirement of 26-year-old goalkeeper Andre Onana from international football. The year was equally animated by the beautiful Elite 1 and 2 Championship, as well as the Female Super League that unfolded unperturbed in regions across the country. The touch and impact of Fecafoot President Samuel Eto'o was clearly visible with a massive turnout of supporters in different stages. A season which rounded up with the comeback of Cameroon Ballon d'Or Award 30 years after, clinched by Marouo Swaibo of Cotton Sport of Garoua. And in the nutshell, the drama between the government of Cameroon and McGill Construction over the Olembe Sports Complex also made tongues wagging throughout the year, with the project now abandoned and exchange of words flowing from left to right. Reigning disorder and power tussle in some federations equally punctuated the sporting domain in 2022, with an initial ministerial deadline of December 12 later pushed to December 31st for all federations to carry out elections. Some, like Feka Volley, Feka Box, Feka Nambodo, among others, continue to exercise in-house fighting and have transited into 2023 unable to organize elections.
Hyacinthia with sports. Wrap it up for this edition of the 6:15 News. I've been Kejang Henry Atembe, thanking you for being there with us. And the rendezvous is for tomorrow. Good day.